What is up, guys? Another edition of the Basketball Buddies Pod. We are your hosts, Ethan and Caden. Uh, Obvious, groundbreaking NBA news today. We're not going to talk about anything else besides this. But before we get into that, remember, subscribe, like, comment, turn on noties, do all that sort of stuff on the YouTube. We love to respond. Talk to y'all on Twitter. Caden's Twitter's banging right now. Hit him up. Um, Reach out to us. We love to talk ball. But without a further ado, no need to drag it out. Let's get into what is the most shocking NBA, probably sports trade of all time. And Caden, I'll let you take the wheel.
Yeah, I think I told you yesterday whenever I heard this news and we were talking about doing the pod today, I would be wearing a suit and tie. I didn't wear a tie, I wore the Luka jersey underneath, but I'd be wearing a suit to honor what died last night. And that is millions of Mavs fans' commitment to that organization, players' future commitments to this organization, and many more. I kind of wanted to start off this podcast in my rant with apologies. The first one's going to be to Mike Dunleavy that we sat here and bashed I think it was Wednesday. We bashed him for being the worst GM in the NBA. He no longer has that title to me. My second apology is to Mavs fans. We were, we literally were so spoiled with Dirk for 21 years. And then we got our second reincarnate. Some people liked Luka more than Dirk. Our owner was saying that Luka was the most skilled player we have ever had in our franchise's history. And we just not only traded him when he was willing to be committed to us, but we also backstabbed him and dragged him through the mud on the way out. And I know a lot of Mavs fans are upset about that. I apologize to Luka fans. Luka fans have been talking about on Twitter all the time about how he's undervalued by this organization. All the Mavs fans were saying, no, the front office holds him in the highest regard. We were obviously wrong. I'd like to apologize to Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson, who the whole point of Klay even coming to this team was so that he could fit alongside Luka Doncic and kind of revitalize his career. Kyrie re-signing, trying to compete for titles next to Luka Doncic, one of the youngest superstars in the NBA, one of the top three best NBA players in the world. I'd like to apologize to Markieff Morris. You were also included in this trade, and I have no doubt if you had to sit there in a locker room with Nico Harrison screaming at you, telling you we're about to trade away a future Hall of Famer, that you definitely would have said something. I believe wholeheartedly that is why you were involved in this trade. I would also like to apologize to Thunder fans. This was shaping up to be one of the greatest rivalries in NBA history. I'm not taking that lightly. The Thunder and Mavs had potential to become a Pistons Pacers type of rivalry. Even honestly, even a Lakers Celtics type of rivalry because we'd see them play more often. Thunder fans feel genuinely more sorry for Mavs fans than Mavs fans feel sorry for themselves at this point. I'd like to apologize to Cowboys fans. Us that are Dallas Cowboys fans and Dallas Mavericks fans truly have hit rock bottom. We thought Jerry Jones was the worst GM in all of sports. Sadly, we were mistaken. And lastly, I'd like to apologize to other teams, other NBA teams GMs who we didn't even hear out their offers for one of the best players to ever touch a basketball. Those are my apologies. So I'll let you give your initial thoughts, Ethan, because I'm kind of going to wrap up a little bit more of what I want to say later.
Well, initial thoughts. I think this is as a Thunder fan, I never thought that I would see the day where the Shea Paul George trade was going to be topped as the worst trade in NBA history. Now, The Clippers in that deal, you could argue that at that point in time, they were trading for the best player in the world. And they were getting Paul George. They needed Paul George to bring in Kawhi Leonard. So even then, there's a line of reasoning that you could use to justify that trade. As bad as it is, looking at it in hindsight, there is no justification for this trade. This is the ultimate slap in the face to anybody involved with the Dallas Mavericks. And I'm going to try to stay concise here because I need to. There's a million thoughts running through my head. Um, Number one, trading Luca for quote unquote defense because defense wins championships and not opening it up to the market, like you said, and only discussing it with the Lakers is GM malpractice, and he deserves to be fired immediately for that. Number two, Anthony Davis is about to turn 32 years old. This team is not getting any younger, and you just traded away your entire future. The number three, the only justification that Nico can have for this is if Dallas wins a championship, and that might on itself might not be enough.
I
And
wouldn't say
number,
us winning a championship is enough.
right,
I'm
because even
100%
then
serious.
you sacrificed the opportunity at multiple championships with Luka Doncic, right?
The most beloved Maverick since Dirk, the second most beloved Maverick ever.
Yeah. And number four, as a Thunder fan, I would like to say I have super mixed emotions this morning. Part of me is distraught that a budding rivalry that was going to last for the next decade is now ruined. But part of me, with Dallas being our rival, is looking forward to the fact that I don't have to play Luka anymore in a Dallas jersey. And so I don't even know what to think about this because it's just so perplexing and it's hard to even put it into words because of how idiotic this move is. I mean, I don't even. If Luka Doncic, I saw a clip today. If Luka Doncic was bringing the ball down the court, smoking cigarettes, I would still re-sign this man to a supermax contract. Like, let's go into Luka Doncic's career accolades real quick. Let me get this pulled up. Luka Doncic is the 2019-2018 Rookie of the Year. Keep in mind that Luka is 25 years old. He has been an All-Star 5 times already. He has been an All-NBA first teamer 5 times already. He is the EuroLeague champion, EuroLeague MVP before he was even in the NBA. He is the reigning Western Conference Finals MVP and had just led his team to the finals. Trading him is inexcusable. And there are about 5 guys in the NBA that are, say, untouchable. But I don't even know what untouchable means anymore. If Luka can get traded, then no one is untouchable anymore.
No one is untouchable.
Because Luka is one of the, I would say, in my opinion, he's a top 3 basketball player in the world right now.
No doubt.
No doubt, in my mind. Like, if I could pick 3 basketball players, I'm picking Jokic, I'm picking Shea, and I'm picking Luka. Hands down, those are the 3 guys I'm picking. No words, man. I'll let you add on to what you have to say because I
I'm
don't even
kind
know
of
what to think.
I'm gonna address this next part of my rant as if Nico will hear me talking directly to him. So just keep that in mind. Let's discuss some of the ramifications of the move that you just did. There was a protest outside of your stadium today. Literal mourning, flowers on jerseys in front of our beloved Dirk statue. I'm looking at this. You guys went from 5.3 million followers on Instagram to 4.6 in less than 12 hours. That's 700,000 followers lost in less than 12 hours on Instagram. The Mavs, this trade was so bad that half the NBA thought that Shams got hacked
Everybody.
after
Everybody
watching,
got Shams.
after seeing that.
Everybody.
And I'm going to list out some other NBA GM's comments. Anonymous NBA GM. How much was asked? How much would he have offered if he knew Luka Doncic was on the table? His response was one word: everything. The Mavericks are now the laughing stock of the entire NBA, and we deserve it wholeheartedly. And it's so bad that we're not even a laughing stock. People genuinely just feel sorry for us. Rob Pelinka, this should have been instantly, when you heard this statement, you should have instantly just been turned off to the whole trade conversation. When they discussed Luka being brought up in trade talk, this is allegedly between Nico Harrison and Rob Pelinka. They were having conversations. Rob Pelinka responded, "Nah, you're joking, right?" Another GM thought you were kidding to bring up that player in trade talks. And then you have the audacity to, on your Instagram posts, limit the comments on an NBA Instagram's social media. You limited the comments underneath your latest Instagram post because of how many flooded, horrible, awful messages that were not just coming from Mavs fans, from NBA fans, from people that don't even watch the NBA. Ticket prices. I looked at the ticket prices for this upcoming home game in Houston. You can buy a $50 Dallas Mavericks ticket. And now for people that don't go to a lot of Mavericks games, $50 Dallas Mavericks, and it's not like we're playing the Wizards, we're playing the Rockets. Like, and they're $50 Mavericks tickets to those games right now, which I hope that stadium is empty. I did forget to apologize to one guy. I apologize to Anthony Davis because he's a great player, but he's never going to be welcomed here because of what just happened. I don't care if he brings a title. He will never be welcomed here like Luka. And I love Anthony Davis. I'm going to be rooting for him. I feel like the main issue with it is if we wanted to move, if we didn't think Luka was the guy, which he is the guy, two-time Western Conference final appearances, and then also an NBA Finals appearances before the age of 27. We sold our soul, our whole entire future for a 32-year-old injury-prone Anthony Davis. If the issue was Luka's availability and conditioning, why did we trade for Anthony Davis? If that's the case, let's set ourselves up for the future, and we can look at what the Thunder got for Paul George. Paul George, not even half the player that Luka is, especially by the time he was being shopped around. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, what, 6 first-round picks and 4 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps? We got 1 first-round pick, Max Christie and AD. And we sent out a second-round pick. We gave up a second-round pick when trading Luka Doncic. I just want you guys to put that in your head. We gave up assets to trade Luka Doncic.
I mean, Mikal Bridges traded for 5 first-round picks. Rudy
Gobert got 4.
Traded 4 first-round picks.
I can divvy out the faults on this. Mark Cuban selling his soul for a quick buck. He sold millions and millions of Mavericks fans' souls for a quick buck. It's his fault. This would not have happened under Mark Cuban. Patrick Dumont is the biggest dummy I have ever seen when it comes to owning a like he's lost millions and millions. I don't think he understands the ramifications of he doesn't understand what marketing is. People name their dogs after Luka. People name their babies after Luka in Dallas. Like that's how he was beloved in the city of Dallas. And now you just lost millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars because you didn't want to pay Luka what he rightfully deserved. This is utterly sickening. Like I almost vomited last night. I've had family members reaching out to me that I haven't talked to in months, or friends that I haven't talked to in months, like genuinely concerned for my well-being. I had more people reach out to me for this than like deaths in my family. That's how serious of an issue this is. And I'll just say this. This is kind of the last little spiel I wanted to have. The biggest ramification of this trade, besides the future first round picks, besides us giving up assets, besides us losing Luka freaking Doncic, we just lost trust with every superstar that ever wants to sign with us in the future. If Luka Doncic is known as being touchable in the Mavs franchise for all he did for us, what superstar is going to want to sign with us? Klay Thompson, we promised him that he would be sitting next to Luka Doncic and revitalizing his career. We just made false promises. What star is going to want to sign with the Dallas Mavericks ever? What star is going to want to be drafted to the Dallas Mavericks? Now that you know this, we chose Jason Kidd over Luka Doncic. I I am shocked. It's beyond words. There's a mourning in the Mavs community, a protest. They wrote "F you, Nico, you bum" in front of the statue that had to be power washed off this morning. And I feel bad for AD and Max Christie because they're never going to be welcome after this. And this is like transcending NBA basketball. This is like, it's to the point where honestly, there could be a conspiracy theory going on that because NBA marketing was down, that Nico Harrison just shipped them off to LA to save the NBA's face. Like and I am always like, oh, that's stupid. Like these are the same people that would say, oh, the games are rigged. No, this is legitimately that crazy enough to where I believe that stuff because this is just unacceptable as a GM. And Nico Harrison will face consequences in the future for this. He better. He will be fired at some point. It's only when. And when that happens, I will hold a candlelight vigil on this podcast.
I mean, there's no way he can keep his job. No, no way. And you might as well just fire Jason Kidd too, because if he knew anything about this and put up with
He
this,
didn't, apparently. He didn't.
I just don't even know. I
The only
mean,
people that knew was Patrick Dumont, Jeannie Buss, Palenka, and Harrison.
yeah.
I mean,
I'm seeing that even like Patrick Dumont said that he laughed at Nico whenever he first brought this up. But as the owner, like you just can't let this guy make this trade, or you have to shut it down. Like
I
you
don't
can't.
think they realize how many millions of dollars they just lost. Like, yes, you're going to be paying Lucas 375 million supermax in the summer. This franchise literally might have lost 2 times that just from this single move. Do you know how many Luka Doncic jerseys are just going to be trashed now? Do you know how many Mavericks fans are just going to be done watching? I'm sure like season ticket holders done. People that pay for Mavs TV done. People that pay for tickets, jerseys, sales, anything done. And I feel worse for Kyrie Irving because he's going to carry the load of this team now. And if luckily for Kyrie is that if this team is going to be held under a microscope for the entire rest of Nico Harrison's tenure in these next 3 years. So all of the blame is going to be put on Nico Harrison. And it's going to come down to Mavs fans like us that actually stick around, no matter how painful it is, to be the one to hold Nico Harrison accountable because he's a snake in the grass for this team. People gave him way too much credit. He wanted Kuzma before he wanted PJ Washington, firstly, and he had to settle for PJ. PJ ended up becoming the way better player. Nico Harrison, by far the worst GM in the history of any sport ever. Ever.
I mean, has there ever been a GM trade a top five consensus player in the world in their sport, fresh off a finals appearance, at the ripe age of 25. Has there ever who hasn't even asked out, who would commit to the team long term, who the entire team and franchise is built around. Everything is built around Luka. This entire team. And I I just never seen a move like this. You know, I've been critical of Nico Harrison in the past. I thought bringing in Christian Wood was a boneheaded move, but
Letting Brunson walk.
letting Brunson
You got
walk,
Kristaps.
boneheaded move. Um, but I really think after a couple of those, he did a pretty decent job, right? He surrounded Luka with pretty good talent. He brought in Kyrie Irving when Luka was unhappy. He brought in PJ Washington for bags of chips that he sent to Charlotte. He built a solid team around Luka and Kyrie that made the NBA Finals and will contend for years to come. But he threw all of that away because he must have had there must have been a personal vendetta or something that we don't know. I mean,
He
I
had to have
understand.
had something because
You know, I have been more critical than anyone of Luka Doncic's commitment to physical shape. I thought it was concerning. I thought it was a bad look to the rest of the players whenever he doesn't seem to take his offseason conditioning as serious as he should. But if Luka Doncic was 300 pounds, I would still give him a supermax because I know what he's capable of and what he can do for a team at his highest level. There is nothing, and it makes it sound bad because of this move in player empowerment, like all the powers in the players, and they deserve these guys deserve it. There is nothing that they could have done to have me trade him. And for me, if Shea would have, if Shea would have just said, "Hey, I don't want to play basketball this year. I don't want to play basketball for 2 years," I would still sign him like to whatever money he wants. There is nothing that those guys at that level can do to where you trade them. Like that's just
not only that,
it's a no brainer. It makes
not
no
only that, he does it because he feels like defense wins championships. But then he's going to sit there and let DJJ walk out the door to sign Clay because obviously we need more offense. What? How does that make any sense? You let DJJ walk, and then you bring in Klay Thompson because we didn't have enough offense last year in the NBA Finals, and then you literally trade away. Quite possibly, you can make an argument the best player in the NBA for a 32-year-old. And we're going to get, and apparently they're going to rock with this team for 3 or 4 years. And guess what? We get nothing for them. These first round picks, Luka was, when we talk about like certain teams, like the Suns don't hold any like of their first round picks or whatever. Like, yeah, but the Suns have assets that are first round picks. Devin Booker, 6, 7, 6 first round picks, obviously. Like, we just threw away 3, 4 first round picks of our future just for nothing, for no reason. Like prioritizing defense. Like, oh, it's culture thing. Like Nico Harrison, you are not the culture. Jason Kidd is not the culture. This team is a Luka Doncic. You bring in guys to fit around Luka Doncic. You don't bring guys to fit you and J Kidd's culture. You bring guys to fit Luka's culture, guys that like Luka, guys that Luka will be friends with, because that's what you do for a superstar player. You don't bring in guys to fit your own culture. It's disgusting. He's the worst GM. I thought Jerry Jones might have driven over to American Airlines yesterday to put the finishing touches on that one. Like we probably had it without giving up a second, and then Jerry Jones went over there and was like, "No, we got to give up a second too." But like it's mind-boggling. The Mavs deserve every single ounce of hate. I hope Nico Harrison is looking at every social media account that he has. He also disabled his comments on his Instagram too, by the way. But I hope all of them are seeing the ramifications of this deal. And not only just Mavs fans being upset, because I feel like he knew Mavs fans are going to be upset. It's 90%, 99% of everybody else in the NBA besides Lakers fans that are calling this dude a moron.
I mean, When Shams has to tweet, "No, I did not get hacked. This is real." It speaks for itself. I mean, it's inexplicable. No one even believed this when they read it because of how ridiculous it is.
It changed the face of the NBA forever.
Forever.
Truly, truly nobody is untouchable anymore. Truly. Like someone could go trade for Wimby tomorrow. Like that we now have to accept reality. Like that is the NBA's landscape has forever changed. And honestly, people will look at pro sports in general. The landscape has changed. Patrick Mahomes, not untouchable. There's some team out there that can make a pitch or say the right things to get Patrick Mahomes on their team. This has bigger, like, if Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison weren't friends, or I know Nico Harrison and Anthony Davis are friends. If that wasn't the case, then this wouldn't have happened. But Nico obviously got fleeced. He got fleeced. There's nobody in the NBA that doesn't think that Nico got fleeced here. And he just changed. I hope he's happy because he genuinely changed sports, professional sports forever. And a piece of me died yesterday. That's why I'm wearing this suit. Mavs fans, like, we're mourning. Like this is the single. This move kind of ruined the NBA for me. I'm not gonna lie. I will have legitimately a worse time watching the NBA because of this specific move. I hope that marketing for the entire league goes down. It probably won't for the Lakers' sake because Luke is going to be must-see TV in LA. But I hope for the entire rest of the league. I hope specifically for the Mavericks that they feel hurt for this move because they deserve it. Every single ounce of it. I feel another apology for the Mavs admin that are posting these stuff on Instagram and Twitter and everything. You guys are getting a brunt of this looking at it. I really hope that you print it all out and put it in a file for Nico Harrison and lay it on his desk, please, because it is not meant for you. It is meant specifically for Nico. Said he takes it. This is his decision. Literally print out every single thing and just put it in a file on his desk. I don't care if it gets you fired. Like I will do my best to pay your salary if you do it. That's all I got to say on the whole thing. I'm done. I'm done. Luca will miss you.